Thank you to our sponsors for today's video, Amber and StarCharge. Amber offers a modern extended warranty for your Tesla's battery and more without the burden of long-term contracts or upfront payments. Check out the link in the description below to browse their plan options and get started with a free over-the-air diagnostic check. This video is also brought to you by StarCharge, the largest EV charging manufacturer in the world, and they are also a provider of residential or commercial battery storage and microgrid solutions.
Welcome to the VinFast. Forward collision warning unavailable. Front AEB unavailable. That says self-fix. Not sure why. Vehicle drive system fault. Roadside assistance. That's telling us we probably need roadside assistance. Detected a vehicle drive system fault. We cannot grab a gear, basically. This will let us pull into neutral, which is how we backed out of the charging spot to leave it for the Model 3 owner over there. But a lot of different faults here. We're going to try to pull the 12-volt battery, see if that helps anything at all. Pushed into place. Hey, welcome to the next day. I have to take my gas car to go rescue the electric VinFast. So let's revisit the events. We'll see if this mic works. I have literally no doors. I took the VinFast on a road trip out to Kansas City and back. It was about 1,200 miles round trip, something like that. And that film's still in progress in the editing bay, but it actually didn't have any issues. The VinFast was pretty much flawless the entire time, which is cool. Now, I say flawless as in it worked as intended. I do have issues with how it works. Not good charging, not good efficiency, some quirky software. It's just a bit rough around the edges still, and I do hope VinFast does improve this car in a lot of ways. I have so many issues with how it actually functions, so we'll see. It's all a work in progress. Oh, sweet, Acura TSX Sport Wagon, nice. Anyways, the VinFast was essentially without fault, and I got home at 1 a.m., locked the car, went inside, and I think somehow the VinFast did not fully shut off or something, even though I locked it. No idea why. It's really quite confusing. So I got out the next morning, and the VinFast was 12% lower than what I arrived home with. I got home with like 27% state of charge, and I came out to the car being 14%. So I guess 13% drop overnight. No idea why. And also the next morning, the cooling system was throwing a fault. The AC would not work. So me and Timon drove the VinFast over to see Andreas. We plugged it into his level 2 charger, a blink charger, and it started charging. Great, okay. Then we got back that evening after Andreas took us to Fort Collins in his Model 3, lovely new Model 3, and the VinFast would not go into gear. We unplugged it. Charging seemed to work just fine. It got up to 56% state of charge, and then it would not actually go into gear. It would allow us to go into neutral, which is great, so we were able to unplug from the charger, made sure we wouldn't block anyone else from using the charger, but the VinFast would not go into drive or reverse. It just kept throwing a bunch of error codes. So we didn't have any tools with us. Why would you need to carry tools for your EV, brand new EV almost? So we left it there for the night. Now I am here with tools in hand, heading back to hopefully rescue the VinFast. Gonna meet my friend Tyler Parker, who is in town. He has the Realistic YouTube channel. He's done some stuff with us in the past. So we're gonna see if we can undo the 12-volt battery, reset it, and I just hope this thing works. Now, we've had software updates recently from the dealer because there's still no OTA updates, even though the car claims it can have OTA updates. And so maybe some of these glitches I've been facing could be fixed within a software update, but still not there. Tyler's joined us from, wait, where you live now? Indiana. And we are at Andreas's place.
Yeah, this VinFast owner is blocking my stall.
The VinFast owner.
VinFast owner.
Starts right up.
I like that the M page.
Vehicle, yeah, vehicle drive system faults, lots of beeps, all the typical things. Trying to go into gear, nothing. Reverse, Nope. Stuck in park. Pulling this twice. See if that opens now. Now try. It does sometimes take two people to open the front because you pull the lever, but it doesn't actually open all the way. So I had to hold the lever open while you lifted it. And here's where we have to get in, I'm guessing 10 millimeter, yep. So try to do this. Let's hope I don't like electrocute myself and die. I mean, that would be a big news story, but not the one we're trying to tell.
Content and views, man. The algorithm would love it.
Jordan died. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, not clickbait.
Okay. That is off.
Did you try turning it off and then
Also-
turning it back on again?
Oh, so the other thing is we left it here at 55% last night. Now it's at 45%. So this car won't fully shut down.
Yeah. It's 10%.
Well, yeah, same thing happened the night before where it just would not actually fully shut itself off, I guess. I mean, if I try to close that, I mean, it should close like that. So now everything's closed, which means it should lock. Oh yeah, that's it. It still makes the pedestrian warning sound, but
It sounds like it's trying, like some sort of actuator is like going off,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if I can get that on audio.
Maybe.
Keep pressing her. Yeah, you can hear it. You can just like really appreciate this beautiful green.
oh, this shit. Yeah,
It's a nice green.
Design is decent. So yeah, if this is just stranded in your driveway, it looks good.
Yeah, you can. Oh man, the LED light. Oh man, yeah. For $299 a month and $1,000 down, you can have a really, really nice brick.
All right, so turns out when you disconnect the 12-volt battery, by the way, this frunk does not like to open. Really terrible design. But when you disconnect the 12-volt battery, you do have to wait a while for the car to actually... Okay, try a third time. You have to wait for the car to actually drain, I guess, the DC converter. There we go, I think that worked. And then it should run out and then fully like go to sleep. So I'm gonna try this again, disconnect that and let it sit for a while, maybe 20-30 minutes, and then try again. Always something interesting with this car. Okay, that's disconnected now. I can't actually get to the 12-volt positive terminal because of that weird flap, so I'm just letting this sit closed but not latched. Rolled the window down in case for some reason it won't unlock after I lock it and let it go to sleep. Now, oh right, it won't lock when this is open. Yep. And should, in theory, go to sleep. We'll see. We'll be checking on this. Woo! There we go. There's a screen saying good night. So it is 2:10. I'll give it till probably 2:30 just to see where it's at that point. Ideally, we just don't want it to wake up so that we know it's fully asleep, hibernating, whatever you might call it, and hoping for the best. All right, we are going to go check on the VinFast. So David from VinFast reached out, saw my tweet mentioning the VinFast is not working, and he's offered to help, which is awesome. VinFast is being proactive. They're like, oh, we'll get this figured out. So I'm gonna go check and see if the 12-volt battery is still somehow supplying energy, and then David will theoretically call me and figure out what's going on. So we have someone on the inside. It's good. I currently have the negative and positive terminals disconnected on the 12-volt. I didn't know if that made a difference. You know, some cars, the negative is all you need to do. So, as it turns out, the VinFast representatives cannot be recorded on a call or video, so I'll just mention what they said. Like I said to them, the battery is disconnected, and he said that should be what the steps are to kind of remedy an initial issue like this. But he's not the actual technician. He's just kind of the spokesperson I'm connected with initially, and he was going to escalate it to the full service team, just letting them know exactly what's happening, and he was going to have them hop on a call with me potentially today or tomorrow, hopefully sooner than later, but they're trying to get all their technicians in a row, and this is getting kind of later in the day. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, if there was a technician or someone that was willing to chat on the phone. The car kind of had the like roadside assistance, recommendation, but I was like, well, I'd rather get on the phone with a tech just in case there is something, obvious that I'm missing. And really I was just trying to see if there was a way to force the car off. Because typically, disconnecting the 12-volt battery, lock it, walk away, the car goes to sleep, and then, maybe whatever, the DC-DC converter or something finally drains, and then it's fully dead, more or less. But if it's not going to sleep, that could be, the big issue here, where maybe everything's fixed by the car really, truly going to sleep, and it just hasn't done that since Saturday, effectively. Well, I'm nowhere closer. On one hand, VinFast cares. On the other hand, this is a very interesting scenario where we have a vehicle in a state where there is no real help for us. And it's an interesting parallel to what maybe some theoretical Fisker owners could also be experiencing.
That's correct.
VinFast is not Fisker. They are not, out of business. But is this the same scenario? I mean, I'm glad I can talk to VinFast, although I haven't gotten a hold of an actual tech yet. But this is the challenge of a car that is, not locally supported per se. This is another call later in the day where the VinFast rep mentions they do have flying doctors, as they call them. The potential problem, though, is that VinFast only functions in certain states, so they don't have service options with no local operations, in our case, Colorado. So warranty could also be tricky if it's not in its own state. A flying doctor could potentially be sent out, but then it'd be out of our pocket if we pursued that because we're so far away from an actual service center. They were maybe going to make an exception for us, but we really wanted to make sure they didn't give us special treatment. We want this to be representative of a consumer experience. However, I do know they're trying to ramp up service options, so their effective service umbrella should be expanded in the coming months and years.
Jordan, I guess we got a tow road trip out to North Carolina.
So this is another interesting piece that unfolds. I'd be really curious on the fine print of everything, but I am not aware of, vehicle warranty being so restricted to basically where you bought the car from. If you buy a Tesla, which you just did, and then if you moved to Utah, next week, your warranty is still valid.
I'm busy next week. I would 2 weeks.
Okay. So this is news to me. If your VinFast warranty only covers the region and then define region, I guess. I'm really curious on all this about the fine print on
I'm sure it's in the fine prints.
Yeah.
But it's not ideal. Not at all. But let's see. Them flying someone out here will be the best service you could imagine.
Don't worry, my tech is on a first class flight.
There's an airport right behind my building, so it's fine. But I'm sure they wouldn't do this for anyone.
Right. So
or everyone, I should say.
We'll see, but I am not getting my hopes up for a resolution today. Technically, this is the second day of the issues, but the first day we're really looping VinFast in, which is great. They're trying. They're doing what they can, as far as I'm told, as far as I know. So, will they come fix it, or will it require being towed? And then how does that work logistically? There's a lot of things unfolding here, so I appreciate you guys joining on this lovely saga.
The repair, what I would want you to clarify is, if we tow the car to LA or Kansas City, is the repair then not covered under warranty?
Yeah. That's what I need to get.
That would be ridiculous to me.
Oh, yeah.
But then towing it more than a reasonable distance, 100 miles or 200 miles or whatever, That's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, we're probably 500 miles from Wichita.
Yeah, well, whichever way it needs to go, Danny can take it.
Yeah. So yeah, it could get somewhere somehow, but yeah, the repair thing would be interesting. And well, even if they're sending out a technician and then they're like not sure if that's a covered thing, it's like, well, so
Well, we're not paying for that.
Yeah.
What I'll pay for is I'll get the vehicle to the nearest service center.
Yep.
And it's on them to fix their vehicle.
Yep.
Or I'll get it within 99 miles of what they
Right.
can pick it.
The sun is setting over the mountains, and the sun is also setting on day one of the VinFast Chronicles of Being Stranded. Whatever we want to call this series. I don't know. We didn't want it to be a series, but this is now the second day. You know, everything kind of happened last night. So this is kind of the second day of things unfolding. So, what do we know? The VinFast is draining gradually. You could call it phantom drain. Something clearly is draining it. It really just won't shut off. So the car will shut off if the car thinks it's off, but something related to climate control and maybe even the coolant system is what's constantly running. And that's what I think is draining the car to the point where, you know, the car will shut off completely. Well, it says it is. And then the vents, like the AC vents, are still blowing hot air in this case because the AC is one of the things that's broken. So I theorize it's coolant system issues. That system will, for some reason, not shut off. 12-volt battery is disconnected. It's been disconnected for a while now. So this system must run off the high voltage battery exclusively. And yeah, it's just still not working. Day 2 of really trying to work on this thing. Day 3 of all the faults, I guess. Pushed it over here to the charger. We're gonna see if it level 2 charges. We did reconnect the 12-volt battery. As long as we get flashing green and not red, we'll be good. And we'll just keep this thing alive. It seems to be draining at a rate of roughly, I'd guess, 15% per day. Yeah. Flashing green is good. So whatever is running the battery down, we have no idea what it is, but we don't want to run it till it's dead. Yeah, 28% now. Wow. So see what happens, but it's charging just fine. So that's good. So in theory today, VinFast will call me and I will be talking to their technician and we'll see if the codes tell them anything, like trying to get to the bottom of this. All right, well, when me and Andres hang out, we usually get food or coffee or both. Got our Starbucks run in, and now FSD is taking us back.
Hands-free.
Hands-free, very nice. VinFast just called. I had to go sit in the vehicle so that they can collect remote logs. Even though the vehicle is fully cell-connected, I guess they do need a driver to confirm or something. So, gonna hopefully send VinFast all the remote logs, and maybe they can do a deep dive as to what might be happening. And we're still not there yet, but hey, we'll find out. Progress. I've been on the phone with, I think, a technician now a couple times. They are collecting all the remote logs. We have the car level 2 charging back on this Blink charger, which seems to work just fine. We reconnected the 12-volt battery. Still no change in what it's doing. The same characteristics are happening of no gear, selectable, no AC, and the car doesn't seem to really actually shut off. We're trying to get a customer representative experience of what you would experience if, let's say, you bought a VinFast in North Carolina and you were, let's say, road tripping across the US and you're stranded in Colorado. What would happen? VinFast has mentioned, like, maybe they'll fly a tech out to us. The car has been updated recently, but there is another update, and this car won't get over-the-air updates, so we do have to have someone physically do it from VinFast. And sure, they could fly a technician out, but we wanted to make sure that's not different behavior just because we're out of spec. So I followed up with VinFast, let them know if that's normal, great, fly your tech out, let's get that done. But if that's not a customer representative experience, don't do it, we'll get the car to a service center. We kind of knew that was a possibility going into this. And if the car leaves us stranded, we're gonna get it somewhere with VinFast, which could technically be Wichita, Kansas if we're worried about closeness. But I mean, we're going to LA anyways, so maybe we'll take the car out here, we'll have Danny bring it out and try to get it resolved.
1 hour later.
Talk about extreme confusion. A few minutes ago, me and Andreas plugged in the car to charge so it didn't die. Went upstairs, did some work, came back down because the VinFast tech was gonna walk me through an actual 12 volt reset, which isn't just undoing the 12 volt, but it's also pulling a main fuse. Not typically recommended, but like in this situation, it really does kill the car in case the car was somehow not able to go to sleep or something. Like it's like an override for everything. So came down to do that and got in the car, stopped the charging session because pulling the fuse would kill the charging session and possibly cause issues. Got in the car, it turned on, no faults. And then I reversed out of the spot and then drove back into the spot. It's fine now. The AC was still broken. It's now back, well, it was back to the coolant system fault, which was weird. No AC, the car just said service coolant system, take it to a service center, etc. So I was still on the phone with the tech. She talked me through the 12 volt reset, pulling the fuse. That really did kill everything. Put it back in, started the car up. Coolant system fault is gone. And now it's all good to go. So AC works, everything's fine. We're gonna try starting to charge again just to see, because charging is at least the straw that broke the camel's back, maybe. Like that's what did cause, or that's when the issues kind of started, was with a level 2 charging session. And then they were also fixed by a level 2 charging session. So we are so confused right now. So I just successfully started another charging session. Nothing seems to be wrong at the moment. Pulling the 12 volt and pulling the fuse did reset some calibrations. So technically this does need to go to a service center to get recalibrated. The 12 volt needs to be recalibrated, whatever that means. I'm not sure what that does. TPMS also needs to be recalibrated, which it might do while driving. So still, well, actually complete confusion over here, but what's important is the car is functioning and we're okay. And no one from VinFast has to fly out here, at least not as of now. And we don't have to necessarily rush it to a service center. The car is fine. In the remote diagnostics, the VinFast techs did find that like there was like a charging overheat thing. I'm not sure if that was where the charger interfaces with the battery. I don't know. Somewhere there was something that was like notably hot. And so I wonder if that's what was throwing off everything. Like some sensor really did confuse everything, caused the coolant system to think it couldn't run, caused the car to think it couldn't drive. It really could have been one tiny thing that caused a cascading amount of chaos inside the car. And in reality, the car was just fine. So we are still confused over here. But that's our journey. That's our episode, whatever number this is, of the VinFast Chronicles, and what has been the last couple days of my life. Troubleshooting, trying things, working with VinFast. Really do appreciate VinFast working with us on this. You know, effectively we were, even though we're not near a service center, we were in talks with a service center and they were trying to get it sorted for us. And ultimately it got sorted. I bet if we had been able to do the 12 volt reset the very first day, that probably would have solved everything, but we didn't know how. There's no instructions. And again, they said it's something that they don't officially recommend people do, which is probably why it's not common knowledge. But if you're a hardcore enthusiast and know how to do the crazy resets that many vehicles do have secretly hiding in them, that's, I guess, one way to get you unstranded if you were stranded. So that's something we're going to keep in the back of our heads as we continue to live with the VinFast VF8. So nice long video of our long experience with the VinFast last couple days. I do have, of course, a road trip film coming out soon on Out of Spec Motoring, which was mostly fine, actually, but definitely interesting. And this whole car is just interesting. So many quirks. And at the end of the day, though, it's a car and it's back to working again. Yay. All right. Bye, y'all.